Hey, I'm Manney. I want to introduce you to the brand new book, Momentum, a simple roadmap to clarify your calling. If you're someone who feels that God has a calling and purpose for your life, this book will guide you from where you are to where God has called you to be. It's the simple roadmap to clarify your calling. There are 4 obstacles that stand in the way from where we are to where we want to be in life. The first obstacle we'll talk about in this book is the obstacle of vulnerability, then the obstacle of obscurity, the obstacle number 3 of poverty, and then last of all, to round it out, the obstacle of adversity. What we're going to find is this, that God invites us to embrace vulnerability. That is to step outside of our comfort zone, to go to places where we find ourselves having to trust God and rely on Him. There may be a burning desire within you, something that is moving you to action. It causes passion, maybe frustration and anger even at times, because you want to fix something that's not right in the world. You find yourself getting excited about the prospect and opportunity of doing great things for God, things that you maybe have never imagined but only dreamed of for yourself. And that is embracing vulnerability, taking the risks, facing the fear, and stepping out. Then we'll find talking about how to welcome obscurity. Obscurity is no fun. This is the most crucial phase and obstacle of clarifying your calling. More people bail out on God's call for their life in this obstacle than of any other, I believe. Why? Because everybody wants to be known, to be seen, to be heard. Obscurity are the places where we find that only God can move and shape and work in our lives. It's the moments where nobody sees us, nobody hears from us, and nobody knows or understands maybe what we're going through. And so it's in those seasons in particular that God has the opportunity to shut us aside all the distractions and to be able to do work in that season that He cannot do in any other season of our lives. It's crucial work that prepares us for the next stage that He calls us to. The third obstacle we'll talk about is how to pivot in poverty. Poverty most often we think of in a financial sense of losing financially, of struggling, maybe being poor, not having enough, where we go through times and seasons of scarcity. But poverty can also be in relationship to the loss of an opportunity, losing maybe a dream or a friend, a relationship, or someone close to you. And going through that loss, it strangles our sense of moving forward and keeps us from breathing to some degree, in that we want to see God work in our lives. And so we get stuck because we can't move past the loss. And so there's a poverty in our soul. There's a poverty of time, of opportunity, of dreams, of finances, of having enough. And we'll see how we can move through those times of poverty, and it ultimately leads us to that 4th obstacle and learn how to leverage adversity. Leveraging adversity is that of wrestling with those obstacles that stand in front of us, that stress us out, that put pressure on us, that seem like they're going to destroy us. But ultimately, in the end, if we can push through the adversity, it'll lead us finally to the clarity that we desperately need. Momentum is a look at the life of Elijah, the Old Testament prophet, who we find that God brought him out of total anonymity and obscurity from a small town that nobody had ever heard of and put him on the national scene. God took him from an audience with the king to becoming a renegade on the run from the king, hiding in the wilderness by a brook where ravens brought him his food. Then we find that he becomes a refugee going out of the country to find himself begging a widow for her to bring him some food, the very last food that she had, and God performing a miracle to continue to provide not just for Elijah but for the woman and her family. And then we see that Elijah faces the ultimate difficulty, adversity, and struggle, in that when the woman's son dies, that she comes to him and says, "Why has God allowed this to happen?" And God performs a miraculous event in bringing the boy back to life. When Elijah brings the boy back to his mother, alive and well, she says, "Now I know you are the man of God." She now acknowledges Elijah's call for his life. Maybe right now you know who God wants you to be. You know what God has called you to do. But maybe you're finding yourself, nobody else sees that in you. My encouragement for you is this: navigate these 4 obstacles: vulnerability, obscurity, poverty, and adversity. And not only will you have clarity for your calling, but others will begin to see God's hand upon your life. If you need to get from where you are to where God wants you to be, if you need to get forward, moving in your life, some forward momentum, the simple roadmap to clarify your calling, is just what you need. I encourage you to check it out September 1st. Look for the link in the description below to find out how you can get the first chapter and read it for free. And also you can go ahead and click the link below as well for joining the launch team on Facebook to be able to get tips, teasers, and upcoming opportunities for you to be able to engage on everything momentum and also be one of the first people to have momentum in your hands. Thank you so much for watching. Look forward to getting this into your hands September 1st.